In episode 273, we have some ish going on in this game. You don't have too many feet. You can't.
I know. I'd have to pull out the toes, and that's gonna be a whole situation.
Upland did some stuff this week. People are not happy, and I'm not happy either. We got Mass here to talk racing, X-Stack stuff, and yeah, let's get into this.
The Xperts Podcast with the property experts. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and ThankMeLater. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the Metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Experts, baby, UPX.
Welcome to the Upland Property Experts Podcast, episode 273. I'm your host, Too Stupid to Win, and as always, I'm joined by ThankMeLater. How we doing this evening, brother?
What's up, man? I'm living the dream.
Living the dream. Love it. Love it. Got a lot to talk about today. We do have Mass Chef here to talk some racing, and I heard there might be some giveaways there too, so that's awesome.
Ooh, yeah.
We have a new series starting here on Saturday, wrapping up the month of February here.
Oh, dang. You know what? I always forget that February is like such a short month.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, it's the 27th. We got a couple. Well, no, we don't. It's tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last day of the month.
Yep.
Which means, that means that thing we're doing starts.
Right.
Dang. Oh, yeah. That was like really right around the corner. I thought we had time.
No, that's why I've been on it, my friend.
Oh, that explains the sense of urgency. Oh,
hey, who would imagine? You know,
who would have thought?
Yeah. So, and Upland decided to play with some Sparklet, so not happy about that. We'll get into that too. And X-Stacks, they finished that season's over. They wrapped up season 1 of it, and it's in the off season, so you can practice, and we'll talk about that too. But let's get into racing and the one and only Mass Chef. How we doing, brother?
What is going on, gentlemen? TML, please leave your socks on.
No promises.
Why does everybody keep encouraging trying to bring this back? That was like, I have post-traumatic stress from that time
it
frame.
Was like peak though. I think we had the highest viewerships. I would love to see the statistics of the viewership when my toes made an appearance. I feel like there's a graph that would show peak performance. Rodrigo's like, no. In the back, he's like, absolutely not. The numbers do not support that.
It went down.
Right on. All right. Well, let's start off talking some frost season racing. We had not a lot of movement going on the boards from last week to this week. We had a couple of new drivers show up, especially on the championship board. XAOC, a veteran driver, shows up on the board there in the 14th spot, moving his way up. On the recreational side, I dropped a spot to Cruiserito, but that's okay. I don't mind. Spaztastic shows up on the recreational board along with Alejo and Ant-Man 89, my URL partner, finally makes an appearance on the recreational boards as well. So still a lot. You've got another 2 weeks or so to go on this. So still some movement.
The championship, though, first and second is insanely close.
It is. Yes, they're within 49 points of each other. So
like considering there's like a 2,000 plus gap between second and third, like the fact that first and second are that close to each other is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and as a matter of fact, I'm in there, guys. Those guys' server. I race with them all the time, but it's funny because Crowley had made a comment in the server the other night that how's he supposed to gain any extra points if City Pigeon never falls asleep? So, but going to be interesting to see. We still got. I mean, you got 12 drivers that can all qualify for the final race, and honestly, as long as you finish in that 12th position and get into the finals, you have a chance to win the season. It's not about the points. It's about getting into the finals. So breaking the top 12 is very, very important in that championship race. And we've got that coming up here in just a couple of weeks. So looking forward to that, and looking forward to see all of the names that make it up in there, because really right now, the only ones that are up there that haven't been in the finals before, Spastastic 83, Bejo hasn't been in the finals. I don't believe, I know Alejo hasn't been in the finals. So there's some names up there that haven't been in the finals before. JR Wheels hasn't participated in finals before. So that is what I like to see, is the new drivers getting in there and working their way up the rankings to try to get points on that board. Very, very important.
So if somebody woke up today and was like, you know what, I'm going to make racing my thing. I'm looking at 12th place at like 200 points. So like, how hard would it be to say get 300 points?
Not hard. It really depends on how many people are in the race and what your stakes are. Obviously, the higher the stakes are on the race, the more points you can get. If you race, if you're racing 15,000 UpX races every time, you get 5 or 6 players in there, you can easily get 70 points in one race if you win. So, this is usually that doesn't happen until about the last week. There's several groups of racers that kind of go in the last week, and they just blow out a bunch of races with these high value races, and make their way up into the board. These are the ones that are dedicated to racing constantly. So it's a lot of the 1,500, a lot of the 5,000, a few 15,000s mixed in there, here and there. But so that's where the points are on this board right now, is all the ones that are diehard and dedicated, but don't want to spend 15K on every single race, because obviously you just can't afford to do that with all of the good drivers that are out there right now.
Yeah. Dang.
Yeah. All right. Moving over to the Ultimate Racing League. We had a huge mix up on this board last week. San Mahoney making a comeback, finishing second place to the one and only Akapropi from Metaverse Racing, who had an amazing win. He won his heat race and came out and won this race, and won it huge. Not by a little bit, won it by a lot. I believe there was almost 5 seconds difference between first and second. It was just a straight up blowout.
Matsuda are finishing in 11th? What?
Yeah. Am I reading that right?
You are reading that correct. Matsuda missed his first ever finals in a series race in 6 seasons. It's the first time he's missed a series final.
Holy cow.
And then that is the lowest finish that he's ever had. So yeah, bad day for Matsuda. Probably looking at firing the pit boss and getting a new one. Would be my guess. But with Akapropi and his huge win, and J.H. Tolton also finishing in the top. He was finishing 4th. So it was a first place win for Akapropi, a 4th place finish for JH for Metaverse Racing. So Metaverse put up a ton of points on the board and moved up 2 spots on the team board from last into 4th. And they are only 8 points out of 3rd. So they are really moving up this board. 21 points is the most that any team has gotten in a single race this season. So they are coming on strong. I can't wait to see what happens this week. We've got another extremely fast track, and these are the tracks that Metaverse team seems to be really good on. So we are running Tyner North Central.
They actually, I'm looking at that. Go back one slide there, Mass.
Yeah.
That's the team I'm thinking you need to start watching, because race 2, they put up 20 points. So they put up 2 of the 3 highest team scores of the season.
Yep.
This might be the team.
Yep. So they are definitely making a run. We still have one more full season to go through before this board is finished. So there is plenty of racing left on this board. We still got 8, 9, 10, 11 races to go to complete this series. So totally could make a comeback, and especially if the Mahoney team continues to have the issues that they've been having over the course of the last couple of weeks. As you remember, the previous race, not last week, but the week before, San got knocked out of the finals for only his second time in 6 seasons. So, it's really still anybody's race. I can't stress that enough. As I said, Tyner North Central, this is only 1.4 miles. It is, a very, very fast track. I would say, just north of 2.5 minutes on this one, maybe a little bit less if somebody has a really, really good run. I wouldn't put it past Akapropi or JH, either one, to have good runs on this track this week. So we'll just have to wait and see how it goes. But Tyner North Central, this is Dr. Tidd's track, iFly in game. This is one of the 5 Tyner speedways that we run on. And this is the shortest one of the 5. So this is a cool track. If you haven't been out to check them out, they're awesome tracks. They're built out beautifully. And not only that, we are going to give away a set of carts tomorrow to some lucky winner, because Dr. Tidd has purchased a set of the new carts that I just started producing, and he has donated them back to the Ultimate Racing League to give out tomorrow during his race. So that was very cool of Dr. Tidd. So shout out to my man.
Yeah. And those are great cards. In fact, do we see them in? Is that like a little preview?
That is a sneak preview. Yes, that is all 7 carts that are lined up on his track right there.
A beautiful set.
Ready to go.
Thank you so much, Dr. Tidd. That's awesome.
Right on. So tomorrow, Heat 1, we've got Wander 1976 as our starter for Heat number 1, San Mahoney, JH 2271, TB 125, and Buellman from Castle Elite racing together, and both Wander and Metaspook from Neo MW Motorsports racing together tomorrow. So the Mahoney guys have an opportunity tomorrow, because it's only them and Metaforce Racing who are not in the same heat together. So that little rivalry thing could come to a big head tomorrow, as they both have the advantage of having a teammate in each heat. Heat number 2, we see Picasso, Akapropi there for Metaforce Racing, Scorpio King from Fast Track, Almost Human from High Park Ninjas, Ja Rashad Fast Track, and Matsuda from MV Motorsports. So very interesting lineup for tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting race on a super fast track. So I can't wait to see it. It should be a ton of fun. And like I said, we are Tyner North Central tomorrow, and then we are off for a week, and then we were right back with the Upland Racing Series Frost Championship taking place on the MRNN network on March 14th at 2:30 p.m. Eastern time. So we're an hour later than the Ultimate Racing League normally runs. So everybody get ready. And not only that, but the week before that race is the road race that's going to be happening in Upland. So everybody get their cars ready for the road race that'll be happening. I'm sure we'll start seeing announcements for that anytime now. But that's due to start somewhere around the March 6th time frame. And that's racing. So I think we should give away some carts.
I like it.
How many give away? Here's what we're going to do. Hashtag MCM right now. And I'm going to give away a full set, mint number 30 of these carts to someone right now. That's 7 carts to one person. Mint number 30.
Oh, wait, hold on. Okay. MCM.
Don't you already have this? You're going to get a second collection?
I want all of them. I love these cards. This is super cool.
Oh yeah, too stupid. You still got to pick yours up. There's
I know.
at the shop
Stop
for you.
slacking. Go
I
get
made it to San Francisco, so I'm almost there.
Well, you're almost there. It only took you a week to get that far. You're good.
Yeah. I've been sitting in Washington for a while, and I was like, I got to get to Las Vegas, and then I needed to run to San Francisco really quick, and I've been there. So
Been stuck there ever since.
it's just time,
Right?
time thing.
Dude, I know. I feel you 100%.
Speaking of travel and all this nonsense, have we heard anything from Upland about removing the restrictions on buying from like out of like location Metaventures?
I haven't heard anything. I mean, they teased it at one point a long time ago, but nothing.
Like
since.
I cannot express. Like I tried to get back into it again. I wanted to buy some more block explorers and go looking. It is an insanely infuriating process. Like you go, like I'm searching for the Christmas tree ones. I'm searching for these limited edition ones. I'm clicking through the things. Like then I find like they're all over the world. Like they're like nowhere easy to find.
Like this one's in Rio. This one's in Berlin. This one's over in Japan.
Like it's completely unfun to do. Like, and it's unreal how many millions of UpX I would have already spent for Metaventures that I end up just overpaying somebody else to just buy them like off the market. Like I still end up doing the transactions way over cost, but it doesn't benefit the Metaventurists. Like I don't understand why they're hindering their Metaventures so much unnecessarily. Like it boggles my mind, and to this day is probably one of my most frustrating pain points with Upland. Like, just let me buy the stuff. I would like imagine if Amazon was like, nope, you have to drive to the store to buy this thing.
Right.
I'd be like, no, absolutely not.
I can literally get everything delivered to my door these days. I 100%.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. Again, charge me an extra fee, whatever. Like, let me do it. Like, if I have a property in that city, I should be able to ship it. Like, okay, maybe I can't travel outside of that city, but if I have a property in that city, I should be able to buy something from that city and it go to that property.
And drop it to that property. Yep.
Like, that's how it should work.
Yeah,
like,
I agree.
Then it motivates you to have property in every city. You know, I don't know. I don't think the hashtag is not case sensitive. So, but it is spelling sensitive, Felipe. It's MCM, and you put NCM. So hopefully you put it somewhere. It's in the roadmap. I don't know. Like it's just continuing to be a pain point for me, and so I was hoping that they would announce something. But
Rock spelling out MCM. That was funny.
Oh, yeah. I wonder what is happening there? MGM, JT just being a troll for no reason.
Stop confusing people.
Moonshine, I don't know if you're being a troll or just mistyped it. Now, it's hard to know.
Oh my God, no.
Oh goodness. I like that one. That was pretty good.
Oh my God, too funny.
All right, how we doing? How we doing on the tags?
I'm making sure that everybody's in.
Philippi, I feel like you're just trolling now. Oh,
M. The first and the last letter are the same.
MCM.
Are you my mommy?
Oh my goodness.
All
right, JT's there. I got more. Did Philippi? Because I know Philippi. It's late where they're at. They're tired. Maybe they're not. Like, are they in?
I can't tell. That's the bad thing. It doesn't give me the names.
No, that's the worst thing about that
Eminem.
draw thing.
MCM.
There you go.
Yay! There it is. Bill, Bill be
right.
in with it. All right.
I think we're good now.
Now we can spin it. Now that he's in.
Right.
All right. One person's getting all 7 of these amazing
All
cards.
7.
Let's go.
Yes. Now like the video. Hey, I can see my girl Tara in there. What up, Tara?
California
Trading Company.
Woo woo.
All right, California Trading Company. Hit me up in game. Same name, Mass Chef, or you can catch me on the Ultimate Racing League server. Message me any way you can message me. We'll make arrangements. I can deliver to a bunch of different cities, so you just let me know. Congratulations.
I like boink.
Awesome. Dr. Tid, thank you so much. Mass Chef, thank you so much.
And we will see you all tomorrow on the track, 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Check us out, Metaverse Racing News Network on YouTube.
Mass, thanks for these cards tonight. And thanks, Dr. Tid, for tomorrow's cards, man. Awesome.
Keep up the great
Love
work.
the community.
Absolutely.
Right. I'll talk to you soon, man.
All right. Peace out, guys.
All right. Racing is done. So yesterday, before we get into yesterday, I need everybody, I do have an ask of everybody right now. Go into your Upland app or on the desktop, go into messages and find Maui. Send Maui a message, M-A-U-I-E, Maui. Send her a message.
A-U-I-E?
Correct. She feels I was trying to get her to be one of the 31 Uplanders in 31 days that we'll be doing, but she feels that the community doesn't want to hear from her. So I said,
I'll just pull
a TML and I'll fill up your inbox. So
spam Maui with some love. Tell her
Maui with love.
You want to get to know her more.
Yes. She wasn't believing me that the community does want to hear from her. The community does want to get to know her better. So we definitely need to go send Maui some messages in Upland saying that you'd really like to know more about her and she should really do the 31 Uplanders in 31 days with Too Stupid and ThankMeLater. So really appreciate that.
There we go.
Oh, thank you guys for spelling that for everybody else.
Activate. Philippi, go to bed. Go to bed, Philippi. My goodness.
Is he trolling us?
Eric, maybe he fell asleep on his keyboard. I don't know.
Yeah. So while we're talking about 31 Uplanders in 31 days, I guess this is the first plug we'll do this show. It starts on Saturday. We're interviewing 31 different Uplanders. They answer the same 12 questions. We do a lightning round. It's been pretty fun pre-recording some of the interviews so far. Really excited to release the series. Each interview, I've learned something. I thought I've known some of these players and I've learned something about them and I've known them for a few years. I was like, I didn't know that. So I think this is going to be a great thing for the Upland community.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I couldn't have said it better. It is quite surprising. The things you learn about people, like, really? How have we been friends for 5 years and I didn't know that? And it's great. We've got to talk with people who have been around in the community, who are in maybe just different areas of the community than we are. At least for me, getting to meet them and learn also different people's different strategies, the things that they like about Upland, how they approach it. The other thing that I really enjoy is hearing everybody's what their missteps were. Everybody has a story of what they did wrong when they first joined Upland. And it's always fascinating to hear the different trials and tribulations that people have had and how they have taken that into learning and trying to help others. It's always been good. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the funny thing is the question isn't tell us about a misstep. Everybody just volunteers it out.
Oh yeah. That's not one of the questions. One of the questions does not tell us how you messed up when you first joined Upland, but inevitably through the questions, that seems to come up and everybody reminisces on like, oh yeah, and when I came in and I did this instead of that, and yeah.
So they start airing 5 p.m. starting
Wait, are we
Saturday.
giving any of the names or no?
No, because tomorrow, check out our Twitter tomorrow, because we're going to run a 25,000 UpX giveaway to the first person who can guess who the first interview is going to be.
Oh, well, what about the person? The person knows who they are.
Yes. But they
Are we
don't
just
count.
sending them 25,000 in hush money?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay. So if you are the first person, we're too stupid to send you 25,000.
Yeah. No. So we'll give away 25,000 UpX. Wait for the post on Twitter announcing that contest. And I got some ideas for some daily giveaways for, it's not always going to be guess who it is, but I got some ideas for some different giveaways. It will be some UpX, some block explorers, some map assets. So we'll have a good time with it too.
Nice.
And all those giveaways will you'll register for them on Twitter. So follow or on X.
X.
I'm sorry. On X, sorry.
X. You're gonna get canceled. You keep using the T word.
Yeah. Oh, and if you know, dang, I'm gonna have to spend some hush money because there's other people who are like, I want to guess, and they know.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. But yeah. I just thought let's make it a little fun too and do some giveaways.
Yeah. We like giving away UpX.
Yeah. Just wait for the tweets.
Gotta be Abdullah. Gotta be Abdullah. That would be huge. I don't know that I could keep that a secret. The app formerly known as Twitter is what I still call it. Fair enough.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of amazing Uplanders to choose from. Some people don't want to be on camera, and we fully understand that too. And then other people, you've had opportunities to be on camera a lot. So we're trying to introduce some players that you might have seen the names, but never really talked to. And ka-chow, thanks. He threw me. But as I was saying, you know, it was tough picking these 31 and reaching out to the people and trying to bring some people that the community really hasn't, you know, been able to see or interact with.
Yeah, no, I think like that was an important kind of mission of this, is to maybe showcase people from different parts of the community who aren't always camera facing. I'll be honest. Well, I guess I won't spoil it because people might think that they're going to be on the interview, but there is one person that I really like. I wish was part of it, and I'm going to figure out a way to get him. I think, anyway, it doesn't matter. He didn't agree to it, and I know it's a language barrier, but damn, I want to interview him.
Right? I even gave the questions ahead of time, and
I got to figure out a way. My dude, if you're listening, I just bought one of your properties for like 100,000 UpX, way overpriced in North Denton.
North Trenton. And now everybody's going to rush to the blockchain and see what you bought. Or no, it's actually on your activity now, since they put that feed in. It shows what you bought.
I mean, go do some snooping, then figure it out, and then go message him and be like, you should really let TML and Too Stupid interview you.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Now, and we have it all lined up for all 31 days of March. So every day at 5 o'clock, it's like a Christmas present each day. I don't know.
I wasn't sure where you were going to go with it.
I didn't have a good analogy when I started down that path, but it was something to look forward to each day.
Like it's like a special little gift your dog left you in the corner of the carpet every day at 5 o'clock. Come see it.
Yeah.
He's got 500 million UpX. Oh, that's dirty. That's insane.
Wow. Oh, man.
That's an insane number. Ugh.
That's crazy. Wow. All right. Oh, wow. That's
Hey.
look at that. Oh, sorry. I got excited
Oh,
too.
yeah. What up?
What's going on,
Envy
Russell?
in the house.
Yeah. All right. Yesterday, Upland threw out the announcement that they were going to do a Sparklet power adjustment, and they are changing the value of Sparklet, and they've reduced the power by a third of its current value, which means that your staking limits have been tripled by 3x. And they said that it was going to happen. They wanted to give us a little heads up. I just didn't think it was going to be as short as a heads up as it was.
Well, with something like that, like, and this is a genuine question. I guess I could have researched it ahead of time. When the Fed announces like a rate increase, how far ahead of time, like, does it take power? Like, if they're like, it's going to go up 0.25% or whatever, like, is it pretty much immediately, or is it like, hey, in 6 months, this is going to happen? Because I see you, like, I'm assuming you're Googling, so that's why.
Yeah.
I'll stall of like, I can understand it because this kind of announcement has major economic impacts and trickle down across the economy. And is something that as soon as it's announced, markets are going to start shifting accordingly. Strategies start shifting accordingly. And if you are you comparing Upland to the Federal Reserve? Only in the sense that Upland wants to be taken, like, if you've ever listened to Dirk and Edan speak about how they view Upland, they're economists at heart. And so their view of how they manage Upland as a game, as a platform, comes from an economic experiment perspective. Like, how do they recreate real scaled economy in a digital fashion? And so when you look at it from that perspective, it does change your lens a little bit and understanding of like why UpX is not a traded currency and why it's only an in-game currency, why they've been slow, precautious about rolling out Sparklet onto exchanges, and big changes like this of like the power dynamics. They do want to mimic kind of that control. And right now they are centrally controlled in that sense. But ultimately, actually, now that I'm talking this through, I'm really surprised they didn't put this to a vote.
Right.
That actually kind of surprises me. Ultimately, it is within their purview to make this change. But I'm surprised that they didn't put it up for a vote of like stay the same, half, 1/3, something like that.
Like, here's what kind of I've worked to build my Sparklet up, and I was excited to where I was, and it basically now knocked me down to less than where I was before we even started this whole Sparklet thing. I'm even less to where I was when it was just Spark and you had to spend a lot of money for the Spark. And with the Sparklet now, it's just, it cut it all out. And now it just makes me mad because I can't manufacture all my assets. I can manufacture, but I can't manufacture like I used to. All my assets have went up in Sparklet hours required to do that. And I was able to fully stake my large factory. Now I can't fully stake my large factory, and just trying to, and I don't have the time to be as active to get all the airdrops and get the airdrops and get that stuff. So it just really frustrates me that you grind it out and you work it out. You throw some money in there when you have a chance to build your Sparklet. And then it's just like, we're just moving it to 1/3 in 12 hours. Enjoy.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely one way to look at it. I think probably for me, the way I would look at it is all of the assets you've built so far in the game just tripled in value. All of your houses are worth more. All of your assets you've built so far are now worth more. And I think that is a huge gain for people that have been playing for a while. So yeah, it is a difficult transition, and I can understand the sticker shock of people waking up today trying to build an apartment and it being 3 times the cost that it was. But what that means is if you've already invested in building those properties, you got 3 times the bang for the buck versus the next wave of people coming in to build. So, yeah, I wouldn't say that they've necessarily tripled the value, but they have gone up in value. One of my strategic plays would be, and again, not financial advice, but look at the market for people that are now selling properties with buildings that are undervalued. Because again, with this shift, that's an opportunity to snag these pre-built houses at a low cost, or looking at these assets at their pre-shifted cost. Now, I will be interested to see how this impacts things like neighborhood ratings. So one of the things that they said with like map assets was your Sparklet hours to construct things would go into your, and I would probably actually look to our resident expert, Rodrigo, to see how this is going to impact that, because I would assume that the structures built historically get the new value and not retroactive, because that would be very detrimental to an established neighborhood where all of my apartments say cost 1,000 Sparklet to build, and now the new ones cost 3,000. And when they're done, like how that impacts your neighborhood rating, and then subsequently your assets. So you were mentioning you had these ghost assets or your from your spooky dookies that are now taking 3 times longer to produce. But from a weighted perspective, how is that going to impact things like your neighborhood scores? I don't know that any of that came out in the information, but yeah.
So here's what. So it takes three times more to produce, and I got knocked down 1/3 in value. So it's even less than what I had before when I was normally producing things. So it's even harder for me to produce now because of that. And I did look it up, and the Fed, when they announced rate changes, it takes effect the next day. So,
yeah. Again, I'm not saying for anybody who's saying, I'm not saying that they tripled the value necessarily. But the value has, I mean, that's just when you look at the economic levers of now. Maybe I'm back.
You're back.
All right. It costs 3 times the amount to make these structures now, which means the historical structures just by defact will go up in value. Like that's just the economic model. I'm not saying it's triple the value. And yeah, it's fair to say, hey, we don't have a ton of utility on these buildings yet. But that is still something that I would consider looking at is, hey, can I take advantage of people selling pre-built properties, maybe even lower than mint from what it would cost me to make today?
But let's look at Sparklet in the last 18 months. If you had the money, it would be $460 if you were able to buy one full Spark.
Yeah.
But if you had to piece it together with the smaller pieces because it wasn't available, it could cost you up to $600 to buy the Spark. Sparklet was released in July of 24, and it was 14.5 cents, I think, once it hit the exchange. Yeah. And so that was a huge difference from what you were putting in. And now we're trading at 1.7677, depending on when you check the markets. And
wait, it's what? How much is a Sparklet?
A penny, just under 2 pennies.
Wow.
Well, for a Sparklet. So it's about $17 and almost $18 to buy one Spark nowadays.
Really?
Yes.
Holy Nikes. I didn't
know
the math on that.
Yeah.
Now I feel like I want to go buy some Sparklet.
Yeah.
I don't know. maybe that's just me. I mean, yeah, I don't.
And then
Here's the thing. I'm not a crypto person. So I've said that time and time again. I don't invest in crypto. I've never invested in crypto. Technically, Sparklet is the only crypto I have, and that's just because Upland converted it to a cryptocurrency. To me, it is a utility token. To me, it's the equivalent of utility, like UpX has utility in that it can be used to purchase and make things. So I can't speak for how the market is trading on it or why it's bottomed out. I mean, I wouldn't say, like, here's the thing. If you were investing in it, it's hard for me to look at it from a financial motivation perspective, because I've never put money into Upland expecting to get money out. I've only ever put money in Upland as
man, you're getting choked out there with your internet.
Oh,
there you go.
yeah.
You're back.
Terrible internet. I've never put money into Upland outside of it being a game. And mind you, I've put 6 figures into Upland. I literally have put over $140,000 into Upland. It keeps cursing at tirades. It gets cut out. Yeah, the sensors are on my are on the YouTube, and they're cutting me out. But the reality is, like, I don't really expect to make that money back. If I do, that's fantastic. But if you're coming in and you're buying it to just try to make money, I don't get that mentality. If I'm buying Spark, I'm buying it because I want to manufacture, I want to build things, I want to use it in Upland. And now again, I can understand where, like, Too Stupid saying, hey, now it's 1/3 as powerful in game. And that's definitely, like, hard to swallow. But again, I view it as we got the perks of being first in. So yeah, it cost us more when we had it. It was more powerful when we first got it. Now it's cheaper. They've been giving away a ton of it as well. Like, they have been giving the community, like, I remember it was like a treat. If you got like 3 Spark, was like you won the lottery. And now they're literally giving away Sparklet at quite a substantial amount, which to me is not a bad thing. I want more people to have more access to the utility. So yeah, build. The UGC content is phenomenal. I think once they open up staking on like MetaVentures and manufacturing, that's going to be huge. All my BEs were free as well.
Yeah, you're just buying UpX.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about that. I only paid for my block less than $200. I mean, I've put a lot. I don't want to talk about how much I've spent on block explorers, but yeah, it sounds like you don't. I mean, I don't play it that much, honestly. I don't. I don't play it as much as I used to. I like collecting. I will buy properties here and there. I like supporting neighborhoods. But no, I'm not in it every day like a lot of these players are. So I'm happy to hear different perspectives. Again, for me, the increase in, raising the Sparklet cost of everything by 3 in game, to me is a positive change that ultimately makes the existing properties and buildings and assets more valuable. And new players coming in, that'll just be the baseline for them. In a year from now, when they do it again or they change it again, then, like, everyone's going to be like, oh man, remember back in the day when it was that? Like, this, this change will just be part of, the history and evolution of the currency. So yeah, I log in to win a treasure and that's it. I believe it.
Now, the only thing that I
Nice.
think, the only thing that I do see a positive for, instead of being just angry about it all, is the map assets and making it more to manufacture. So people are going to raise their cost. With the abundance of Sparklet, it was just kind of a race to a bottom at times. People were selling stuff for 1, 2, 3, 4, very cheaply. And this is going to make them raise their rates, I would believe.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see UGC content manufacturing costs go up significantly. In the sense of, like you said, it should be an investment to make these assets. So that way we're not getting flooded with, there's a lot of great things being made, but there's a lot of garbage. And it kind of floods the market. It floods the properties. I don't know. You should appreciate. Yeah.
I know my first set of map assets, they had those Spark needed to manufacture them. I was really shocked at how high they were. Then my next batch that went through actually came in really cheap, but I was shocked at how low they were to actually manufacture. And now everything's just 3x'd.
Yeah. Oh, they still haven't done that? That's funny. I haven't looked. I haven't been to Japan since the war.
No, they haven't done that. And then there were some hiccups with people starting their builds, and they should have been grandfathered in, but then it converted to the new cycle. Yes.
We need a UGC burn recycle function, 1,000%. 1,000%. Yeah, that's fair. I do think that their price structure, I think Upland really needs to take a look at how they manage some of their prize payouts and rewards. I think that they're running into limitations of, how they're giving assets and what those assets are valued at, for the cost of how much some of these competitions take to participate and win. Sparklet burn mechanic. I can see Sparklet burn mechanics coming sooner rather than later. I think that they mentioned having to burn Sparklet for blueprints.
Was
something to that. Yeah, I thought it was. Like blueprint. Like if you wanted to make a blueprint, you had to burn Sparklet. Sparklet burn mechanics for legit. Something. There wasn't even an announcement for the big game.
No, there wasn't.
Yeah, that's kind of shocking. Historically, they've usually done they had like block explorers. I remember I collected like the green Gatorade container and like all of that.
That's where it was. The manufacturing the legits. There you go. Thanks, Shaq. I knew there was something with you had to do something with Sparklet.
Oh yeah. So that's thank you. Legit. Which again, I think is an interesting market. I don't know, kind of just opening it up to them being able to make their own. I should have taken you up. Did I offer $1,000 for that?
You probably did. You probably did.
Man, oh man. Yeah, you definitely should have taken me up on that. That is not the shopping price for it now. No. Although if you want it, I mean, I probably did because I was putting in a lot of money at the time. Times change, priorities shift. And so again, I'm enjoying the game and what I've built. People are catching up very quickly to me, passing me in a lot of aspects, and I'm completely okay with that. Unspoken, looking at you, buddy. I know you've been nipping at my heels on the overall collector score. I see you in the auction houses, getting some good deals on things on the regular. So shout out to Unspoken out there working on that collector score. But yeah, if you want, I got $1 million. I'll give you $1 million UpX for it. If you want, Russell. Yeah. I'm 296 from being number 2 of all time. That's awesome. The change also kills treasure hunting. I saw that because I congratulated you, and then like it disappeared like immediately. I was like, what happened there? Also, it says bi-daily. I looked at the site, it's like updated bi-daily. Does that mean updated every other day or twice a day? Either way, change that. Change it to be more accurate. Although unspoken, I have made some not insignificant purchases in the Block Explorer department, and I have not seen my score go up either. So, yeah, I would expect that I am higher than my current score is now, assuming all things, stay equal. But yeah.
And what I didn't like that they didn't address in the article was the login bonus and treasure hunting. Are those going to 3x? Your rewards going to 3x?
No, absolutely not. They shouldn't.
Then you're logging. Then why log in every day? Why treasure hunt anymore?
The same reason you always have. Like,
well, people treasure hunted to earn Spark and Sparklet.
And you still earn the Spark and Sparklet. I don't understand. Like, that's illogical.
But it's 3 times less the value now, because if you don't change it and move it, then
not necessarily. So again, it has your 10 Sparklet. It has a third of the power inside of Upland. That didn't cut the third of the value. Like, I don't know what did it do to the actual cost? Like, so if you're looking at the cost of it, what impact did it have on the cost? Because in theory, by making it a third as powerful in game, it should actually increase I know it sounds weird, but people are going to need more of it. So it should drive people to buy more Sparklet and increase the price, which would increase the external value of the currency in order for people to keep up. Like, that's the price drop. I mean,
it's down 3.7% over the last day.
Again, though, people are emotional right now. People are emotional right now, and so it's fair. Like, if they're paying and buying and selling emotionally. Like, if you're mad, you're selling off. And if you're, looking at this as a long-term play, and again, not financial advice, I don't do cryptocurrency plays at all, but if you're looking at it from a long-term perspective, the in-game power was a third, which means that people that want to manufacture, which is still valuable, right? So now I can charge more for my assets, which means I should be able to pay more for Sparklet. Like, and again, it's going to take time. It's like when the Feds raise rates, the economy doesn't shift immediately. But you have to see how these things play out long term, right? This is not a short-term fix. It's a long-term strategic power dynamic of like, okay, now you need more Sparklet in the game to accomplish the same things you've been doing. Well, how do you get that? Okay, you got to continue treasure hunting, and maybe you go buy some. I was never going to buy Sparklet, but now I'm like $17 for a Sparklet. Holy cow, for 1,000 Sparklet? Yeah, why don't if I go drop $100 on Sparklet, like if I knew how to do that easily. The problem is I don't have any crypto accounts. So like trying to actually do that as an individual is really difficult. Who's not in that space. But like I would easily drop $100 on Sparklet right now, because that would give me a ridiculous amount of Sparklet, and then I'd be so happy. So I can see that, again, long term, that's where the shift is going to be. So when you're treasure hunting, you're actually getting something that should be intrinsically more valuable. Why spend 2 hours treasure hunting for $1 worth of Sparklet? I don't know. I mean, because you're just looking at it as a time to value. I've never seen the time to value of spark hunting and treasure hunting versus going and saying getting a job. I don't know. Like, Why do you do, if you're doing it just for money, I don't know why you would do it. I assumed that people liked treasure hunting.
And they were doing it for the Sparklet. They were just trying to grind it out and move. I mean, that's how people got 20, 30 spark. They were grinding out the treasure hunts for that purpose. Because back in the day, think about that. That's $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 that they were looking at with just treasure hunting. And now you're getting 10, 20, 30 Sparklet at a time in a chest treasure hunting. It's nowhere near.
Yeah, well, the early players got it. Like that's how these things go. And so you have to figure out like what's the next cycle. Because honestly, if you're not in manufacturing, if you're not in community building, and you're looking to just play treasure hunting to make your nut, like you can still do that. It's going to be a longer grind because Upland wants to shift the focus. It wants you to be creating and adding value to the game, not just suckling at the treasure hunting teat. Like, that's just the reality. Sorry. And you know what? There's still going to be people out there. Treasure hunting is never going to die because the reality is that it still gives you something for essentially nothing. You're trading your time for in-game resources. Even if it's less, you're still getting it for essentially free. Everybody else is still having to pay for it or do something else to get it. You're doing a treasure hunt for it. So, I don't know. I just find it hard to feel bad for treasure hunters. Like, in the sense you got to take advantage of a golden age. Players coming in now will never know that sweet feeling of getting all of that, like the rewards. And that's why in a Web3 community, you should be rewarded for the earlier that you are adopting something. You were the early adopters of treasure hunting. You were rewarded for that accordingly to the economics at the time. Now it's been adjusted and they want to shift priorities, but they're still supporting treasure hunters. So I was actually one of the top treasure hunters when it first came out, believe it or not. So yes, I actually did treasure hunt.
But you never grinded for the spark.
No, I never grinded for the spark because I just used my money. I grinded my job. So instead of grinding the game, I went to work and grinded my 9 to 5. And then I took my money and I bought the spark. And that's how I did it. It's just a grind. It's a different kind of grind. I don't know. 27,000 spark. That's pretty insane. Yeah.
And if you bought 10 of them.
If you bought 10, yeah. Well, there you go. The visitor fees. There you go. As play to earn, you can still play to earn. They never said play to earn a lot.
That is true.
Like you're still earning. Like you're just mad because you're not earning as much. And guess what? There are people out there that are earning more because you know what they're playing? They're creating UGC content. They're creating carts. They're running races. They're doing other things. So there's plenty of other ways to make money in Upland.
Nice one, JT.
A little bump and grind. So
now, and you know what? As I think about it and look at the article and look at the numbers behind Sparklet, I guess we should be fortunate that it is only 3x because really it's about almost an 800% decline in price of when Sparklet launched to where it is now. And they told us in the white paper that they would make adjustments. And I remember our show soon after Sparklet launched and it was going down. We said that Upland wasn't going to do knee-jerk reactions to adjust it. And so July, we're in February. I mean, it's been 7 months that they finally made an adjustment to it.
Yeah.
So it could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot sooner. So I guess listening to what you're saying and then looking at those numbers, thinking about it, it's not as bad. It could have been way worse. And it could have been a lot earlier.
Yeah. This is definitely, I would absolutely not classify this as a knee-jerk reaction in any way, shape, or form. I think that this is very carefully calculated from the timing of the release, because it is before the next war, right? And we saw the desire for Sparklet and buildings as soon as the war hit skyrocket. So the reality is, like, that was strategically timed, and it's far enough away from G Week. I think people forget about that. Like, this is strategic. It's 3 months ahead of G Week, which will give the economy time to rebalance out a little bit before whatever they end up announcing, whatever their big announcements are this year at G Week. And so 1.5 million. Yeah, if they stay true to it. Now, keep in mind, they could adjust that. There's nothing saying that they'll keep the superstructures at that. I hope that they do. As someone who built a lot of them last time, I hope that they do keep it that way, because I think that would be, more on scale with what a superstructure should be. But the reality is, I think this is a very strategic time. I don't think it was knee-jerk. I think that they played it well before the next Spud Wars. I think that they gave themselves enough buffer to see how it plays out in the economy before G Week, because I do imagine that there'll be other big game-changing announcements like they usually do at G Week this year. So, yes.
Yeah, as I think about it more and what you're saying, it was needed. It was, I think, overdue now, and it could have been a lot worse. It's just, from an individual player, it's frustrating. I did see complaints of people complaining about, well, the people without resources, it's not, everybody doesn't get the same thing, and it's not equal in the game. So,
yeah. I don't know. And honestly, everybody I've talked to, like, the amount of Sparklet that they've been earning through these Sparklet drops and other the gamified earnings and all this other stuff, they're earning tons of Sparklet, like tens of thousands of Sparklet. People who went into the Sparklet transition with 20 Spark to 20,000 Sparklet, some of them are sitting now on like 90,000, pushing 100,000 Sparklet. Like, these are huge numbers. Right. I mean, it would have been unheard of. 100 Spark would have been unheard of. And yeah, again, it's unfortunate.
You had people that had it and grinded it out, but they were few and far between. They were like the 0.001% of the game.
Right. And yeah, I would say that players like Big A, who I don't doubt were well compensated or covered in some way through this transition. Like, he put in a ton of money into Sparklet, or just Spark, like ridiculous numbers, like dwarfing every single other person. Like, where, to me, no one really can complain except for him. If he came in and was like, I'm mad about this, I'd be like, yeah, brother, I hear you. But everybody else, that's the game. That's where we're at. So I don't see it as shocking or negative. If you have too many Sparklet, think of me while I rest. No one grinded out 100 Spark. Expedia grinded out 60 Spark and bought the rest to reach out. Yeah, exactly. But again, still grinding out that much is
that's still a lot of Spark to grind
and
out.
And buying 40 Spark is freaking insane.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it definitely would have been.
Absolutely. All right.
Yeah. No, I mean, again, big change for Upland for sure. I think it's going to be a time will tell. I'll be curious to see how quick these values just get renormalized. I'm going to be interested to talk to Rodrigo to see how it's going to impact the neighborhood stuff. If he's seen any changes on that and how the buildings might play out there. Because again, all of those scores were based on number of Spark hours based on construction. So Are they going to be retroactive to the existing buildings? Or it's very reminiscent of, there's like 5 San Francisco financial district properties that you can go and see that were purchased before the actual like collection. And so their cost per up square is ridiculously lower compared to everybody else. And they were being passed around for a while because people thought it was a great deal until they saw the earnings. And so that would be really disruptive if all of a sudden these new buildings have 3x the impact on a neighborhood score because they cost 3 times the amount of Sparklet to build. And again, all of these assets now being built have potentially a 3x impact on placement. I mean, that to me is another thing that I haven't really heard a lot of people talking about. Maybe it's a non-issue and they're just going to even it all out and just keep it so it's essentially the same behind the scenes, but I don't know.
Yeah.
If 100,000 players purchased 170 of Sparklet at 17 cents, that would be the entire pool. That's a great perspective on, like, the reality is this is not a very deep pool. Like, it wouldn't take much, you know. That's something to keep in mind too. You know, I like that. That's a good perspective. Thank you, Katya.
That is a good perspective.
Because I mean, mainstream 100,000 people purchasing, you know, $100 pack of, you know, whatever for a game. I don't think that's unheard of. Someone check my math. Well, yeah, I didn't check that math at all. I just assumed you're a trustworthy cryptoid. Anyway, what else you got for us?
All right, really quick. They did do a, I lost it. Stacks. I couldn't think of what stack. Xstacks.
The Xstacks.
So it's in the off season right now. So season 1 finished. They'll have a airdrop of the Sparklet for the 3 winning cities. 140,000 games in season 1 were played. In the off season, you can practice and challenge your friends in casual play. They did add 2 new blocks to it, a T and a cross, and they will be kicking that off in season 2. It doesn't say when season 2 will kick off, but a lot of people liked it. Still trying to figure out. I mean, like your partner loves Tetris and she likes playing this, but yet how does it tie to Upland other than, you know, and I can see the hook because you start playing it, and if you interact with the people that you saw it on X with, and you start interacting with them, you get hooked with the community, then you can get into the game. But I'm still having a hard time tying X stacks with Upland.
Yeah, it seems like a bit of a stretch to me too. I don't see it as being like, I don't know how many new players are coming from this X stacks. I think it's probably more from the community. I mean, if I look at the boards, it's community members that I know. Not that that's a bad thing. And again, it has the potential to draw in new people who are like, ooh, I want to play this. And then, you know, what else does this tie into? But it doesn't feel like, even if it was just a small thing, like the building, like the squares look like the buildings in the game, or like were made up of, you know, block explorer shapes or something, then like it would feel a little bit more, but it's just like, from what I've heard, it's a fun game. I'm excited to see where it goes, but yeah. Oh, did T Wilk get a?
Yes.
Did T Wilk win?
Yes.
Oh, congrats! That's super cool. Those decorating contests are no joke. That's some serious work. So shout out to T Wilk. All right, what else you got?
That's all I got. Other than starting on Saturday, March 1st, 5 p.m. Eastern time, we will be dropping the first interview of 31 Uplanders in 31 days.
So excited.
On Friday, February 28th, we'll be putting a tweet up on X talking about who do you think will be the first interview. First person to gets it correctly will win 25,000 UPX after we pay hush money to the couple of people that actually know who it is. And we'll have different contests throughout the month of March, interacting with this series. Very excited for it. It's been a blast. My wife thought we were through more interviews than we really were. She's like, and I did them while she was. I did a handful of them while she was out of town too, and my kids were super awesome with it. And they're like, Dad, you're always doing these interviews. I'm like, yeah, when you're supposed to be in bed, so knock it off. Knock it off. You're supposed to be in bed. It's not like I come home from work and I'm doing these interviews and I'm not feeding you or interacting with you. You know, it is. You're already supposed to be asleep. It's a time for you to be asleep. So. But she's like, oh, but excited for it. It's been super fun. And it's just great meeting players that I've always wanted to talk to and chat with. And it's funny. People are like, well, why me? I'm like, and then it's like, why not you? Everybody's like, and if you haven't done it yet, go ahead and message Maui. Message Maui and tell her you want her to be part of 31 Uplanders in 31 days. I know we put that out earlier in the episode, and it was, and I'm going to quote her here in our conversation, because she said, where is it? Let's see here.
Also, well, while you're looking at that, so dojo update. It has been a lot slower than we wanted. There's been some back-end stuff with the Spark Exchange and Spark Tycoon that needed to take priority. However, we have gotten the team, the APIs to link in with the actual block explorers. So we will hopefully be seeing some action on that coming up. Thank you for your continued interest in that story. I know that there is a lot of people looking forward to getting some block explorer functionality up and going. Where do you message Maui? In-game, please.
Yeah.
Where in-game name is Maui. Mauie.
So Maui tells me that she thinks that the whole idea of the series is super cool, but thinks it should be names that are a little more familiar to the crowd. She's not very active in the community, and many people may not know her name. And I said, people know you and they want to hear from you. She's like, they don't. And I said, it's just all about Laban. And I said, they know both your names. And then she said that we're going to just agree to disagree. And I told her, fine, I'll just pull a TML on you and have people flood your inbox encouraging you to do the interview. So that's where we're at right now. And she told me that we are silly. And then I told her challenge accepted. And then she sent me the gif of an oops. It's got a little kid on the bed and it pulls sheets over its head. So she knows what she did, and I'm just following through on my half of it now. So we're trying to make this happen.
Show some love.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing too about this 31 Uplanders in 31 days is the different Uplanders we have from all over the world and how they talk about the community too.
Yeah. All right.
That's all I got. You got your update.
Yeah, that's all I got.
Awesome. All right. Well, everybody be safe. Have fun. We'll see you out there in the metaverse. And don't forget to tune in on Saturday, 5 p.m.
The Xperts Podcast with the property experts. If it's happening in Upland, it's the place you want to check first. With your host who's stupid to win and ThankMeLater. Bringing the strategy, news, and cool charts with all the data. This is Upland, where the metaverse goes down. Genesis, San Fran, to Rio, and all around. Don't miss a week, you never know what they'll say next. It's the Upland Property Experts, baby, UPX.